So yesterday, this dropped, which set the internet ablaze, as you might expect. I read this article, actually, because I was curious what they mean, right? So, Netflix live-action Avatar series took out how sexist Sokka was in the original. A lot of moments in that animated show were iffy. And I was like, eh? Because, you know, like, with a lot of these things, you could say that, like, a lot of these things that are changed for modern audiences are usually, like, the context around it is also bad. But the thing with Sokka is that it is a character trait, but it is a flaw. Like, it is something that is knocked out of him. And it's a good thing. And you know who is also knocked on his ass because of it? Paku. That's like the whole thing. Why Gran doesn't live in the north, right? Like, there's an actual through line to all of this. So I was like, hold on. Let's not jump the gun. I want to know what this is about. So I went into this article, and unfortunately, they don't really say anything. They are just talking about, like, the realism and everything like that, right? We also took out the element of how Sokka is Sokka. And keep in mind, this is only talking about, like, this is an interview, right? Which is why, I am sorry, I am not that angry at this. Because I don't really put a lot of stock into this. I'm gonna be honest. I want to see the full context. I want to see the full context of it first. Basically, yeah. There are things that were redirected just because it might play a little bit differently in live action. Play a little bit differently? What does that mean? Like, a lot of people in media... Oh, and by the way, this Reddit thread, it has like 30 updates. I don't even know how they found it. This is not a popular post. So, I don't know. But yeah, this right here, right, would make remarks like girls are better at fixing pants than guys, and guys are better at hunting and fighting. This, I believe, is on Kyoshi Island. He says this as they're landing, right? And that's when he takes a huge L. So, Sokka's sexism won't be the only... Oh, so this is about what they talk about. So, let's talk about this. So, number one, big picture-wise, yes, this is very alarming. This is alarming because it signals like a weird detachment from what the story actually is. Because this is not making things more fitting to the modern times, right? Like, let me give an extreme example. If you've read stories by Lovecraft, you know a certain aspect of Lovecraft that most likely should be taken out because it's not relevant to anything and is just a sign of the times that adds nothing to the story. It is just bad. Like, you read it and you're just like, hold up. Like, if a modern person reads it, it is usually kind of daunting. Sokka's jokes were not that. Sokka's jokes were a deliberate lesson. And removing them because they're perceived as sexist, to me hints at, like, a misunderstanding of what it's supposed to be. And if you've watched any of my live action videos, ever, I always talk about what is the intention of the author. I don't talk about replicating things one for one. I don't talk about these beats, you know how they're supposed to be shot-for-shot replications. I totally welcome all the changes in bringing these stories to a new medium, right? But I always talk about replicating the vision, replicating the bigger vibe that the story is going for. And this is the first big alarming thing, right? Like we talked about a couple days ago, the time skip. The time skip is also kind of iffy in terms of the macro story, but that can be written around. You can easily write around it, it's not going to be a big deal. You can explain it away, it's fine. This, however, sort of hints at a fundamental misunderstanding of what it is. And this tweet popped off, right? Like, unrelated, this freaking tweet has 53 million views. So if you remember what I said a few weeks ago about how there's like an iceberg of Avatar viewers, and like the bottom of the iceberg never comes out, this is what I mean, right? This is the iceberg. And I responded to this, right? Where is it? He does wear the Kyoshi armor, right? But I'm trying to be very balanced. And this is basically what I said. And for some reason, I triggered the bots. These are like 5 hidden replies. Those are bots. It's kind of like a cultural thing, right? For the water tribes. And that's why it sort of should be there, because it is, the whole story is about dismantling that patriarchy, those stereotypes, right? It's not meant to be a joke. It's not meant to be played off for goofs. It is a flaw. And you know, toning down the sexism because it's like sexist, I think it's a bit weird. I am still not like going to throw in everything into the fire. I still think you should watch it, and I will still watch the show. Of course I will. Because this is ripped out of context and we don't know what that means. A lot of people have said, right, this is also what the article mentions, something I want to dispel right away. Mike and Brian, they left the show, right? And a lot of people immediately said, well, this must be the creative differences. This is why they left. I don't think so. You know why? Because at the start of this year, this is not first-hand news, right? But Avatar News, they have recently retired, unfortunately. But everything they've posted has been very, very accurate. I consider them a very reputable source. And they have some scoops on the fact that Avatar Studios has actually been collaborating with the lore, even on the Netflix version. So, to me, it is more so hinting toward what I've always said, right? The fact that the announcement of Avatar Studios coincides very weirdly with their departure from Netflix. That said, there is also, I believe, Brian's personal blog, where he is not... Well, he doesn't really seem that happy about what's going on at Netflix. But I still wouldn't really say that, like, this is the smoking gun, right? Like, this right here is why they left. Because they were trying to tone down, like, Sokka or something. I don't think so. Basically, the short version of all of that is, if a couple days ago I put out a video called Mildly Concerning Avatar News, this is, like, slightly concerning Avatar News. Actually, I would probably drop the slightly and just say concerning. It's not bad. It's not good. They probably left because they got a better deal. They got to continue their original story. That is what I think. Yes. Basically, if you want my headcanon as to what happened, obviously none of this is confirmed, so take that with a huge grain of salt. I think the animated show was put on Netflix, and then Paramount, like the umbrella studio that owns all of it, basically saw money signs, and they were like, we're going to wait until the license with Netflix runs out, and we're going to yoink the original creators, give them total creative freedom, and they'll launch literally their own studio. So, I mean, of course, right? It's like a win-win for everyone involved. I don't want to make any of these predictions. Like, based on what we've seen, it looks gorgeous. Based on what Albert Kim has said, he said all the good things. It seems like they know what they're doing. You know, they've multiple times talked about stepping into the shoes of the original. So it does seem like they understand what they're working with. So I hope this is just like a offhanded remark that is not like entirely accurate. Because I was, when I read this, I sat down and I thought about maybe there is like a single instance where it is kind of just Sokka being a bit of a doofus. Like it's actually played off as just a joke. And I thought about it and I thought about it and I can't recall one time. Because I feel like every single time this has happened, you know, like the whole pants fixing thing and everything, I feel like it's building towards Sokka like being proven wrong and there being conflict because of it. It's like never treated as just something that you know, he says. In the same way that when he meets Toph, for example, right? Like all of that is completely gone. That growth happens throughout book 1. And I guess another counter argument people say, you know, like this happens for Sokka within the space of like 3-4 episodes. And that's it. I don't think so. Because I think it is very important with Paco as well. That through line. Because it's almost replicated. We see like a micro scale example of that with Sokka. Like that personal, I don't want to keep saying character flaw, but it is just like a personal character flaw that most likely just breeds from insecurity, right? And by the way, talking about the insecurity angle, that is also something that I feel like if they tone this down, it might, in the long run, harm that insecurity in book 3. Because in book 3, a lot of his story is not about, haha, you're supposed to be sewing my pants, right? Because he wants to be the protector, he wants to be strong. But he's not. Fact of the matter is, he's really not at the start. He's not the bender, right? So he gets past that, Suki knocks him on his ass, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna take the L, I'm sorry, right? And then we get to book 3, and that bender angle is accentuated more, where he actually, like, comes clean about the fact that he is insecure, he feels like he is just that guy on Team Avatar, and you know, there is that through line. It manifests differently, but it is growth, and that's why he eventually goes to, like, master the sword, right? He unironically picks up the way of the blade. So, you know, I don't know what to think about this. I don't think we should get like Superman. We can watch it very soon, we'll see. I wonder how Aang gets released if Sokka doesn't make Katara mad. Yeah, exactly. Maybe it is something like that, right? I don't think so, because like, people posted this clip immediately. Like, we're toning down Sokka's quote-unquote sexism, and then there's Katara literally calling him sexist. So I don't see why. I just don't. I don't see the rationale behind it. Because with each and every one of these changes, no matter how quote-unquote nonsensical they are, no matter how dumb they may seem, I try to think about, like, why? What could be the intention behind it? What could possibly be misunderstood, misconstrued for a weird article in any way? And I genuinely could not find a single instance with Avatar. Maybe it's just the fact that some of those lines, like, hit a bit more personally in live action than they do in... Because, I mean, it's a suspension of disbelief argument, right? With animation, it's just like, ha-ha, funny, goofy. In live action, it might seem a little bit different. But even then, I can't see it. I genuinely can't. It's important with Northern Water Tribe and Katara's growth motivations as a character as well. Exactly, right? If it was just Sokka, I would be like, okay, I still want to, like, give him a character arc, right? Because, like, him being knocked on his ass is incredibly important. It is very, very important because he is meant to be insecure. Like, a lot of his insecurities are supposed to be manifested. And to be fair, that's, like, true for everyone, right? The fact that it's even a through line right up until the Northern Water Tribe, that's what has me a little bit more worried. I do worry that Sokka will be noticeably less flawed in the live action, mostly just a comedic physical fighter archetype. We'll see. We'll see. I hope not. Because, in many ways, I feel like Sokka is meant to be... Like, in a lot of scenes, he is meant to be the audience surrogate. Right? He's meant to be flawed. He's meant to be among the greats. He's meant to be just that guy. And eventually, when he leads the attack, during the Black Sun events, right? That's when he should be, like, really... That's when he should pop off. We need to get that scene of him standing on Appa with, like, a blade. He pulls it out and then just slices the thing off. So, this might undermine his arc more than anything. If they're changing this, then what else they should change for modern standards? I've got no clue. And that's what I mean. Like, with a lot of these things being brought into the, again, quote-unquote modern sphere, usually, if I sit down and, like, really think about it from every angle, I can find reasoning behind it. Most of the time, it's obviously reasoning I don't agree with, right? But this time, I genuinely can't. I have no idea how any of this might be misconstrued for something that is, like, a good thing. Because this is always portrayed as a flaw. This is not a joke. This is always something that, like, he sees consequences for. Does Sokka even have an arc in season 1 other than overcoming his insecurities? What are they going to do to replace him? I mean, if they make him out to be, like, just a older brother, that's probably just going to be his arc, right? Like, at first, he may be overprotective or something. And then, I don't know. Maybe he realizes that Katara is actually strong? No clue. Yes, thank you for bringing that up. I forgot to mention that. Sanji in One Piece, right? Like, Sanji in One Piece, I've said this a million times. Sanji in One Piece, I feel, and I don't think this is a hot take. With a lot of people who I talk to, this is something people generally agree with. Sanji, right? He is a creep a lot of the time. And for the live action version, that was just toned down. It was changed. Because there, it is oftentimes played off as a joke. There are a couple of times where it, like, becomes a very crucial plot point, but infinitely more than with Avatar, it is actually played off as a joke. So there, I feel like toning it down was actually a net positive, because it actually makes the character feel, like, more endearing, right? Whereas with this, like, again, I keep coming back to that point that it's an actual plot point for Sokka. So, I don't know. East Blue Sanji wasn't a creep, though. It's after that it became a problem. Yes, and I feel like they're just doing that early. Yes. You are right. It definitely becomes, like, worse as time goes on. But, like, you know what I mean, basically. I feel like if we get to something like Thriller Bark, I don't think we're gonna see him fight Absalom, and if he will, then he will definitely say different things. No shot is he going to... He's still probably going to say that he wanted the clear fruit, which, no spoilers, right? There is a reason why he wanted the fruit. If you really want to, like, analyze Sanji as a character, considering his backstory, you know? Being invisible would have helped. But, I don't think he's gonna say a few of those lines. Looking at the headline, I think I'm more hesitant about this show. Yes. I don't think you should be hesitant. I don't. I think you should watch it to see what this is about. Because never does it say it will remove it completely. Because this is a small interview, I'm still kind of like... I don't know. Like, this is the first concerning bit of news about it. Changing Sokka is not changing Sanji. One improves the live-action counterpart, one will harm the live-action counterpart in theory. Yes. Yes, that's what I think. Because the live-action version of Sanji made him more endearing, made him more human. This is removing a core flaw, which might, like, ironically make him more cartoony. That said, let's get to the good stuff. I'm very interested what this is, by the way. I know that either Mike or Brian said that they don't like the ending of Book 1. So that might see some changes. Because obviously they did a lot of development with Mike and Brian still on board. F's for Avatar news, though. I think they retire, yeah, September 6th. This was a great source for everything One Piece, everything Avatar. It was great. Alright, let's look at all these. Speaking of Sokka, I think we have one for all the characters.
It's easy to find your path in life, but when you find it, you must embrace it.
Sokka,
You don't have
the
to
warrior.
do this alone. You have me, Tara, and a flying ball of fur. What more do you need?
It's not always easy to find.
Oh, that's a mechanist. So, I mean, at least this. It's not always easy to find your path in life. At least that implies that they are still dealing with, like, Sokka's insecurities in some way. The only thing I don't like about Book 1 ending is UA. That's exactly what Mike and or Brian said. I don't remember which one. I always mix them up. You know, one of them was talking about, if I look very hard, I probably have... I think I mentioned it in one of the videos I made on the main channel. I think it's in My Hopes for Season 1 of Avatar. It's there. Like the exact quote he used. So you can look at that there. But yes, that's what they were talking about. That they had mixed thoughts on Yue and what happened with her. It does eventually turn out to be like a huge meme for the show. So that's like, again, one of those fundamental things I don't think they're probably going to mess with. But you know. But yeah, this is, yeah, right here. It's the air balloon. Good catch. Good catch. This was great, though. I really, really hope they do the rotten eggs thing. I love that moment. Rotten eggs! Let's look at Aang. Let's look at Aang.
Aang, you have always been special. The most talented airbender I have ever known.
I never asked to be special.
But you are. You are
There he is!
the Avatar. Aang,
I want to look at.
you
I want to
have
look at
always
Gyatso.
been special.
Oh my god! I just noticed. Look at how thick Katara's boots are. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm just thinking about, like, imagine filming long scenes. Freaking Gordon must be like, yeah, we're good, we're good. Imagine they must somehow make them, like, more breathable, right? This would be insane. Look. It's like, you film for 10 minutes, and your body temperature has risen for, like, 5 degrees. It'd be insane.
It's been special.
There he is. I wish we got a better look at the tattoos, because here, this is like, shots like this is probably why people think that it's just a blue arrow, right? We know for a fact that these are not blue arrows, they actually have tattoos. But in this shot, like, it's literally impossible to make out. It is probably also the bitrate, but, I can't see anything. It literally looks like a blue arrow. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Canonically the same height as Aang, live action, Is Gordon actually 160? No shot. No way. Shut up.
You're a waterbender.
Katara,
I'm a
the
warrior.
waterbender.
I should be able to do more for our people. We do have a duty. It's to protect the Avatar. You're a waterbender.
So that was the scroll. I wonder how they're gonna do the scroll.
I
love the Ravesk on his arrow. Yes, I think one of the only good things to come out of Rava's existence in the Avatarverse is the fact that we now have, like, very, very cool designs. Very, very cool designs. My favorite thing. I wonder how they're gonna do the scroll. Because removing the pirates? I don't know. It makes sense, right? Oh, the pirate ships are confirmed. Okay, we're gonna look at that. That's great. I love the pirates.
warrior.
Because I was about to say, this fight right here... Where is it? This. This looks like the fight, like, on the shore with the pirates. That is one good-looking forest, though. Look at this forest. Man, I like this forest. their outfits are so ridiculously accurate. It's insane. I love how normal the waterbending looks. That's like the thing that gets me. This looks so good. Let's look at the tribe. Yeah, this is what we talked about, right? I said this at the very I don't remember when it was. I think it was with the trailer. The water tribe always looked much bigger in the live action version. And I don't know whether this is just something that, like, it's an odd perception issue, right? Like, the way I would explain it, in the animation, we only see certain angles of it, and I'm not sure if you actually add up the angles, like, is it a possible space? A lot of the time, if you don't know, a lot of things are filmed or animated with things that are, like, physically impossible. Like, there is a door where there shouldn't be a door, for example, things like that, right? So I don't know if this is just, like, in bringing like the Southern Water Tribe to live action, they realized we kind of need to make it bigger, and that's what this is. But I don't know. It definitely looks bigger. Like, physically, it definitely looks at least somewhat bigger. This looks so spicy, though. Look at that. I keep getting... Was like 15 people? Yeah, and that's what I mean, right? Like, I don't know if it's just a case of portraying it in animation versus making it actually real, you know? I feel like that's, again, like a suspension of disbelief angle. Are you really going to believe there are only 15 people there? Feels kind of extensive, I guess. We'll see. Oh, this is Zuko. Oh, yeah, and we have the pictures here. So this is what I mean, right? I saw this picture, and I was like, okay, so we are getting them training. So hopefully, he also gets knocked on his ass. I really hope so. He has to. He has to. Also, another thing I was proven right in. A lot of people said Uncle Iroh's beard looks plasticky. I think in this shot, which is like, I presume, already using like a more cinema lens, it already looks infinitely better to me. It doesn't look like weirdly caked on his face. It actually looks like a beard now. And like hair. Looks better. Looks better. In the show, I presume it's gonna look even better. The only thing I'm still kinda Zuko's scar. We talked about it. What about him missing the eyebrow? Or what about the scar being slightly bigger? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it actually looks like in the show itself. So far, I love it. I love it. I want to see Zuko's little conspiracy board, because we've seen like a few bits of it, right? Like he is looking into Yang Chen, he's pursuing Aang, and he's got this little conspiracy board. I want to see what else he has on there. I want to see what he's been researching. Is that like actual? I think so, right? Because it's vertical text, so they're going with even that. That's cool. Look at how cool the crown looks. Love that. The crown looks so cool. Oh my god, is the going merry? Look at that. Imagine if they actually like slipped in One Piece props in the background. That'd be so funny. It's like the ultimate crossover. Did you know the world of One Piece and Avatar are actually in the same universe? That'd be so funny. Yeah, I don't think I can really spot anything cheeky in the background. I think it's just this looks like the Mechanist stash or something. This looks great. The Kyoshi armor looks badass. Wait, this is supposed to be the pirate ship? Oh, I didn't realize this was meant to be the pirate ship. It looks a bit cramped for a ship to me. Because I was like, oh, there's something behind. Oh, I think you're right. Because I thought there was like something in the middle, right? I honestly don't know. Because yeah, these could be like scrolls. Because they do. It seems like there's like light coming through them. I just assumed that there's like a desk behind them, which to me was like a room, right? Because in a ship, you probably wouldn't place anything like in the middle of the ship. It's a bit weird. We'll see. There are a couple more pictures. The costume design looks incredible. This looks like it looks worn. Is like the best praise I can give it. It actually looks worn. Even the sleeves being like slightly discolored. This is great. Alright, let's look at the Zuko one. He will stop at nothing until he fights the Avatar. Meet Prince Zuko. Look at Prince Zuko.
My father has banished me until I find the Avatar, and that's exactly what I'll do.
The exiled
For 3
prince.
years, I've chased down every hint, every rumor, every whisper of the Avatar. And I will find him. My father has banished me until I find the Avatar, and that's exactly what I'll do.
I mean, he looks equally angsty. I can immediately say that. He looks equally angsty as the animated show.
For 3 years, I've chased...
Look at Iroh! The freaking raised eyebrows, like, what are you going on about? Oh my god, that is so cursed. Dude's like, come on, just chill. Just chill. Yeah, there's this conspiracy board. I really hope that someone was talking about this, right? When we see in the trailer when Sozin is attacking the temple, it's supposed to be presumably like versus Gyatso. I really hope we see the scene of Gyatso suffocating everyone in the room. Because it's not actually like a super secret. Well, I mean, it is technically a super secret technique. Only Zahir uses it in the series, but in the Yang Chen novels, she does it too. So it's not like something that is Omega secret. It's not like Zahir has reached enlightenment, you know? I mean, he did. But, I think it'd be great. I think it'd be really cool. I hope Sokka is a bad draw. Yes! We need him to draw the freaking Appa poster. Yeah, he's definitely looking at past avatars, 100%. Right? Because at the start of the series, they don't even know, if he's been reborn. There's the whole thing of Zuko saying, he could be an old man. He's had however many years to master the elements. He could be a bending master. Meanwhile, it's freaking 12-year-old Aang. This also is great. One thing I'm gonna be very curious about is how they play this off. Like, is Aang going to be captured just as he was? I presume he is, right? I mean, he has to be. Because that's kind of like, his first act as the Avatar. I think he will. Yeah, what I was going to say. I hope they kind of nerf their bending a little bit at first. Because I want there to be that curve. Like, my favorite thing about watching Avatar, now that you've seen the entire story, is seeing the first Avatar state and being like, why are you so weak, bro? Because, like, he does the whirlpool, he does the little spinny thing, but freaking Katara does it at the end of book 2, no sweat. Like, what do you mean this is the Avatar state? And then we get to the final Avatar state, and he's literally the destroyer of worlds. So I want that to be here as well. Because I don't want them to be like, we need to surprise people with the bending effects. There needs to be a power curve here. So this looks cool, but I hope it's actually less flashy. We need to start weak. 12-year-old Aang is a bending master, though? Well, I mean, if you're talking about airbending, then yes, he is, by definition, by the way, by definition, he is an airbending master, because he came up with the new technique, right? He came up with the air scooter, which gained him his tattoos. So yes, he is a master airbender, but you know, there are 3 other elements where he is not a master. Which do you prefer, Azula getting blue fire right away, or earning it as she becomes more evil? I think it will depend on how they portray the macro story. Because now that we know that there is going to be a time skip, presumably, she might be training off-screen for potentially years. So if that is the plan, then I'm actually kind of fine with them starting out with regular fire, then turning blue, you know? Like, maybe we see in Season 1, she's bending regular fire, and her introduction in Season 2, suddenly she's bending hotter fire. And I really hope they actually explain it in the live-action version. I hope someone says, there have been stories of like you putting even more strength into your fire and it burns hotter, therefore it like becomes blue, right? Like that's the fan headcanon for this. The reason why the fire is blue is because it's hotter, and then when it cools down, it becomes regular fire. That's what I would prefer. Yeah, exactly. In the cartoon, she did have like regular fire earlier on. We don't know exactly when she gained her blue flames. We need to start moving rocks before we start moving boulders? Precisely. We need to have that, like, power growth of Aang struggling to earthbend, and then we get that freaking badass scene of them flying into the, flying to the palace, and Aang just doesn't even move, he just smashes the rock out of the way. That's so cool. What do you mean they're doing a time skip? They're not necessarily doing the time skip, but they've talked about leaving room for a time skip because of, oh, look at this, that's messed up. Great. They said they're going to leave room for a time skip because actors are growing up, and they're like, they don't have a season 2 yet, right? This is me. So they're leaving room for it. It's not that they're doing it, but they're, like, planning with it in mind. Imagine Iroh explaining it like not even he can do that. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I just wonder how they're going to do it, because if there is a time skip, I think it makes sense to, like, have her train off screen almost, then come back stronger. We don't know what they're gonna do. We don't. Most likely, yeah, they're probably going to make like Sozin's Comet arrive later, but they're going to have to explain it away. I talk about it a bit in this video as well. Like, this is why I said mildly concerning, right? Because you can't just say that the comet is coming in 3 years and call it a day. You need to explain why Aang hasn't been hunted down within those 3 years, now that the world knows he exists. Because the world not knowing he exists is a huge deal in Book 3. Like the whole awakening, and Sokka jumping up, well, the world thinks you're dead, Aang. You know, it's like, it's a huge thing. Information is massively important. And the fact that the whole series happens in the space of a few months sort of allows for you to say like, oh, so first Zuko was chasing him, then Zhao was chasing him, then Azula was chasing him, and Azula presumably kills him. Literally. Azula presumably straight up kills the Avatar. And then you're like, oh, well, we're done. And then Ozai can just chill. But if those are 3 years, well, you probably want to hunt him down, right? So even if you say like, I don't know, you leave Aang. The way I envision it right now is probably there's a time skip after the siege on the north. They get spooked by maybe like the vision of Avatar Kuruk or something. It could be a cool through line that during the winter solstice, it's Roku who scares them. During Kyoshi Island, it's obviously Kyoshi, right? So we have fire, earth, and eventually in the Northern Water Tribe, we have Avatar Kuruk making an appearance. So we've gone through all of them. So that'd be pretty neat, I guess. And then because they are like annihilated in the north, they're just like, listen, we have to pull back, we have to chill. And then Aang stays there, he trains. And then maybe they're chased out of the north by Azula. Or something like that, right? Like the Northern Tribe gets a message that there's a new attack coming, led by the princess herself. And they get out of Dodge because of that. Something like that. I don't know. We'll find out soon. Welcome back to the land of the living. Sokka is amazing. Yes. Are you okay with them being taller and looking older? I don't think you're ever going to replicate the vibe of the original anyway. In terms of like who they are and their whimsical side. So yeah, I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine with it. To be fair, like, what you have to remember with a lot of these shows is that they are still written by, like, mature people. Like, try to find me a 12-year-old who acts like Aang. Good luck. They don't exist. 12-year-olds, 99.9% of them. With the exception of, like, I don't know, like a natural-born genius or something. 12-year-olds are dumb. They're not Aang, you know? They're not going to be fighting for world peace and all that. So, yeah, I'm fine. So to wrap this up, all of these things look very good. Jet's design is incredible. Jet's design is great. Jet looks so cool. To wrap all of this up, though, all of these previews look really, really good. I still haven't changed my opinion on the fact that even if it's, even if some of the story takes a few side steps, like, it looks stunning. As for this, we'll see exactly what they mean. That's my whatchamacallit, my thesis statement on this. It's concerning. We'll find out. We'll find out what they mean exactly. On the concern meter, where are you out of 10? Out of 10. On the concern meter out of 10, I am at, like, a 5. Maybe even a 4. No, I'd say a 5. Like, it's crossed the realm of me being, like, 6. 6. Because I think, like, normally, with any live-action version, even now, even after One Piece, I would probably be, like, at a 5. You know? I'm like, things can always go wrong. Things can always look uncanny. There are a lot of things that could go wrong. I'm at, like, a base point of 5. This puts me slightly over the average. Now I'm into 6. I wouldn't be, but because it's, like, so fundamental to one of the main characters of Book 1, that's where I'm like, if what they're saying is, like, actually what happens and it's not just, like, an offhanded comment, that's where I'm like, ooh, that seems like a core misunderstanding. We'll see, though. We'll see, though.